All right, family. Black Power is the true power with General Sarah Soon said he kick back, get your mind ready for some information that's guaranteed to be heavy. I'm excited and delighted to be accepting members to the Sarah Soon said YouTube page, a dynamic page. Y'all know what it is. Black Power, Black Frequency. You're feeling that frequency and energy. You should most definitely join. Link right down in the video description in the chat. Click that link, you'll get a video introduction rundown on the membership, what they entail. You see one you like, you should most definitely join, even if you don't. I appreciate your presence here at the Sarah Soon Said YouTube page. Continue to engage, continue to advance. That's right, family. Ring the alarm. KingSeti.com, online marketplace, official General Sarah Soon Said DVD lectures, t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, African and Kemetic jewelry, holistic tonics and remedies, home decor, accessories for every room in the house. I got you, family. 25% off selected items at this time. Shop and save and shop. That's right. Pull the fire alarm, generalseti.com, SETI University. We talking about over 1,500 videos of nothing but pure heat and fire presentations from the generals, exclusive to Patreon, all the subjects that you know and love. Plus, we got the supplemental, also monumental and instrumental research material from the Grandmaster teachers. I'll give you an overview on all the material, giving you 360 degrees of supreme African academic wisdom and knowledge that cannot be surpassed by any other website on the planet. I want you over there today, family, generalseti.com. SETI University. And everybody knows SETI popping on Patreon, BPC making noise. We never come. Exclusive live stream, too hot to handle on YouTube. Just so exquisite. We keep it for our family on Patreon. Patreon, over 500 exclusive live streams, never to be seen on any other platform. Biggest perk, you get a chance to see the general go live. You see, you get a chance to see the general pull out that hot sauce and them jalapeno presentations. You want that, family? Get over there, become a patron today. All the family that donate to the general, I thank you. I appreciate the fact you appreciate me. Any of the family out there would like to donate to the general, the link is in the video description, is in the chat. Click it, donate. I thank you ahead of time. Make sure you subscribe to all my YouTube channels, King Seti, General Seti, Sarah Soon Seti. Rock that notification bell. Get a video a thumbs up. Like it because you love it. Share with your family and friends. And comment. Just don't say nothing stupid. Because I will ban your ass. All right. Little Pete back. Yeah. We got to keep our eye out for Little Pete. Yeah. All right. Here we go, y'all. Vladimir Putin says Alaska. Yeah. Alaska was illegally sold to the U.S. Sounds like he wants it back. You see? So yeah, so in all this what's going on the planet right now. You see, I like to validate the things that I see, and it ain't necessarily got to happen exactly. But you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, it happens. I have a vision where I can see shit. I see people. You see what I'm saying? And I can, I see shit line up, and I call it like I see it. Just like anybody else out there, they predict. You go on all these news shows and they predict. You see what I'm saying? And that's, that go for every goddamn news agency out there. A lot of these motherfuckers be having generals and shit that come out the army. Motherfucker be totally wrong. And that's why they need to get that's why that motherfucker, they got his ass up out of there. Yeah. Yeah, they already need, man, goddamn Vladimir Putin is almost in the casket. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, yeah, Vladimir Putin got access to a couple of rockets and shit and this, that, and the third, but you've been in Ukraine too long, man. I say that, and I say this, again, that Russia is overrated. It's overrated. When it comes to maybe total destruction, but you can't be bombing motherfuckers into oblivion. You understand what I'm saying? Over a border dispute and shit. You understand what I'm saying? You got to bring some soldiers to the battlefield. And it's just a proven fact that Russia's army is totally overrated. You see, totally overrated. They rank Russia, but that's the same thing. Uh, yeah, yeah, that's just the same as when Russia went into Afghanistan. You know, beat their ass, beat them back across the border. You see, beat them back across the border. You know, and so when you look at it, all the threats, he's embarrassed. He's been embarrassed by the fact that the United States has been able to train literally a third-rate army, then train a third-rate army to hold the supposedly the second greatest military on the planet at bay now for damn near 2 years. How long they been in Ukraine? About 2 years now. So they didn't held Russia at bay, knocking their ass off. Knocking their ass off. I'm talking about generals. You know how many generals that Russia has lost? You see? You know how many generals and shit they high ranking military leaders that they done knocked off over there? You know what I'm saying? They got all type of tanks and shit, man. They didn't fuck them up, man. They didn't, and so yeah, they over there, they over there bombing the shit out of. That's really what it boiled down to. But you got to come on the ground and get some, and I haven't really been keeping up with Ukraine as much as because it becomes you tire, because all they doing is bombing and bombing and bombing, and I've really not heard, you know, yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, what they supplied bin Laden with with ammunition and firepower when he was in Afghanistan. They did that. Yes, they did. And then they left and they reneged on what they ultimately what they was gonna do for him. And so he turned into the boogeyman. You see, yeah, Ukraine is, but that's Russia's motherland. Yeah, that's Russia's motherland. You know what I'm saying? That's where they come from. That's where they come from, and I have to look into it. Strategy wise. I know to have that. Would really put Russia behind the eight ball because but when you look at it, even if they don't get Ukraine, they in Finland now. Let me get that. They in Finland now, so they a hop, skip, and a jump from Moscow. You know, they a hop, skip, and a jump from Moscow. Let me get it in here. So if having that type of access, I mean, they could literally strike. You know what I'm saying? In minutes, they probably could hit Moscow in less than 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? They can strike him. You know what I'm saying? And so that's one of the main things. So even if they don't get Ukraine, and I don't believe they're gonna let him have all of it, even if he get portions of it. They still, got, they in Poland, they in They in Finland, they in Switzerland and shit now. They've joined NATO and shit. So regardless and shit, if they take it or not, they still close to Moscow. They still close to St. Petersburg, which is their second largest city. I believe St. Petersburg was the capital before Moscow. You see, I believe so. I believe so. Yeah. Yeah, they all Slavics. Them Russians is Slavics. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they all Slavics and shit, Russia and Ukraine. But so now Putin, he's delusional now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I believe. Yeah, of course. You see, yeah, of course. The Russians is no different. They come out there. I mean, because when you think about Moscow, you see, when you think of first, it was Rome, and then Rome was the capital, and then Constantine moved the capital to Constantinople, which was in Turkey. And so when Constantinople fell, Russia, Moscow became the new Constantinople. You see, so when you look at the order of that, when you look at the order of that, when you look, this has been going on longer than what people think. You see, it's been going on longer than what people think. That's why when you look at Russia and you look over there in that whatever square that is, I believe it. I got that because I meant, wait a minute, let me see. Yeah, well, Russia, the Soviet Union was all the other smallest nations that's around Russia all in one. So the Soviet Union was Russia plus Ukraine, Georgia, what's all them, Lithuania and Romania and all of them was under the Soviet Union. And so that was like the biggest goddamn nation that had ever existed on the planet. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So all of those smaller nations that's around Russia now, they all used to be a part of the Soviet Union, all the way to even into Germany, even Berlin. You see, was a part of that. I believe they had a piece of that. They had a piece of that all the way, and it was, I believe, it was under Ronald Reagan. You see, and Gorbachev. Mikhail Gorbachev was the prime. I don't know if they got a president Russian, but I believe he was the president of Russia. And so yeah, Gorbachev, and that's when they tore the wall down in Germany, and then it reunited, as one. But see, they had Poland. Poland was under their control too. Shit, you know what I'm saying? Poland, shit, East Germany, East Germany was under their control. So all of that was this, yeah, was the Soviet Union, and then it collapsed. You see what I'm saying? It was so large that they didn't have the capability to you know administrate, you know what I'm saying, such a large ass empire like that. It collapsed down and shit, you know what I'm saying. And so yeah, that was the Soviet Union. But they sold Alaska in I believe, when did they sell Alaska to United States? And so that's just, they sold it, and so ain't no way they're gonna get it back. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no way they're gonna get it back. Russia gonna fuck around and find out. You know what I'm saying? If they cannot beat Ukraine, they can give up trying to go on the ground with the United States. That just ain't gonna happen. Anybody, you have to use your mind. Thank you, family. Thank you. You got to use your mind. You can't be a fool. You see, you got to be you have to, like I say, you can look at boxers and shit, and you can look at, and you can, you have to make your choice on who you think gonna win. You see, and you look at the capabilities, you look at the record, that might not necessarily mean nothing. Sometimes it's just your day. You see, sometimes it's just your day. And you don't play the right. You can have the military and just don't play the cards right and get and lose. That's real talk. That's just like Rome. One day they went up into Germany, Germania, and they put their trust in a motherfucker from Germany. He had been raised in Rome. He was a soldier. I believe he wasn't a general, but he had rose to a high rank, and in battle, and they chose him to be an assistant to the general to conquer Germany. And all the time, he was thinking about liberating his land. And so when they went into Germany, they went in there like something like 30, 40,000 soldiers and shit. But the Romans wasn't used to guerrilla warfare and shit like that. They was used to fighting in formations out in the open and shit like that. They couldn't be beat that way. You know what I'm saying? So what he did is he took them motherfuckers into the forest, and they, saying that it was a shortcut. You know what I'm saying? And they took and when they went in, they went into that goddamn forest. They say out of like 30, I believe it was 30,000. I believe it was like 30,000. Out of that 30,000, less than 100 motherfuckers came out of there. So they slaughtered all them motherfuckers. You see what I'm saying? So, but if they would have fought them in the open field, they probably would have crushed them. You see what I'm saying? So you can have a superior army, but if you got the superior strategy, you see, if you got the superior strategy, then you can come out on top. So I don't just pick a motherfucker. Yeah, but in today's, but you talking about in today's warfare, this is, it's still the same, but the reality is if any one of these greater nations with the capabilities that they have, not to say that they cannot be beat, but they're gonna cause great destruction to your shit. Just know that. You know what I'm saying? When motherfuckers can fly all type of goddamn airplanes, man. Some of these jets, man, they is so fucking high in the sky. They literally on on the last in the last stage of the atmosphere. You see what I'm saying? So if you ain't got no missiles and shit that can motherfucking go that far, you in trouble. They literally in the last layer of the motherfucking atmosphere, some of them. You know what I'm saying? Right before a motherfucker take off and go out into outer space, some of them motherfuckers is flying that goddamn high and that goddamn fast. You see what I'm saying? And they carrying hella, these bombs is ridiculous. And like I say, it ain't like you can't, because any which way it goes, sometimes you can bomb a motherfucker and you still got to come on the ground because motherfuckers will dig in. You know what I'm saying? They'll dig in. They'll find areas in their land where they can hide from them missiles and shit. You know what I'm saying? But let it be known, yeah, yeah, they got to go to the land to even fuel up. That's true. You had to get that shit before it take off. You got to get that shit before it take off. You feel what I'm saying? But Nevertheless, in this modern warfare, you see what I'm saying? Where this shit is going, you ain't. I mean, it ain't looking good. It ain't looking good. I can tell you that it's not looking good at all. If them motherfuckers show up, you can, like I say, you can still beat them. You know what I'm saying? You talking about motherfuckers, even in Vietnam and shit. They ran the United States up out of that motherfucker. You see what I'm saying? But they wasn't just they had some armaments. They was getting backup now. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't just, without allies and shit. So they did have allies in Russia and shit like that. So they was getting some military. They was getting some armaments in that motherfucker. But if they had not got them armaments, they would have did them nasty, and they still fucked the country up. They did. They're recovering now. They're recovering now, and they have some world class cities over there. But you talking about it took a long time, and still some of them areas over there is fucked up. You know what I'm saying? You motherfuckers, you don't want these motherfuckers. And so they have a policy now that they try not to fuck the goddamn nations up like that no damn way, because they go in there blowing up the infrastructure and shit, and then they get in there and they really needed the goddamn infrastructure and shit. So they try not to blow up so much of the shit that, but that's some of the shit that you want to get rid of. You blow up the infrastructure, the bridges and shit. You blow up the bridges, you damage the highways and shit where, because, so, motherfucker can't roll them trucks and them tanks and shit, up and down the freeways and shit. You destroy that. You bomb. Thank you, family. You bomb the airports. You bomb the airports and shit. And you know what I'm saying? You bomb the airports. And you wait a minute. Yeah, you bomb the airports. So they can't take off and shit. Bomb their goddamn planes and shit. But you bomb. So that's what you do. And when you do that, that put motherfuckers in a fucked up predicament. You know what I'm saying? To where they can't even, they can't even mobilize. You see, they can't mobilize, they can't do too much of shit. And still people have come and still won even when that has happened. You see, you can still motherfuckers still with that. They'll still dig in and wait for your ass to touch down, and they can cause havoc. You know what I'm saying? Still nonetheless, until that's look at what they did in Afghanistan. They eventually, but they got what they wanted out of there. But they was over there for 20 years and shit. But they didn't defeat them. They stayed in the hills, in the mountains and shit. You know what I'm saying? And eventually they empower again. So, they empower again. When you look at what they did in Iraq, they fucked that shit up. They caused a power vacuum when they left up out of there too. That's where that the ISIL nation came from. That was the vacuum, and they had to go over there and get on their head again. You see, but you can't, at the end of the day, you can't keep, thinking motherfuckers is going, they're gonna figure out a way. And so most of them didn't figure, that they're gonna need a nuclear bomb or something as leverage and shit. But these motherfuckers have started talking about winning a nuclear war. They're gonna accept the fact that you can get some off. They're gonna accept the fact that they might lose some cities. They accepting, they want to accept that fact. They still say that they're gonna be the victor because you might get some missiles off, you might knock some cities down, but bitch, we're gonna destroy you. That's what they saying. We're gonna obliterate you till it's not a soul left in the goddamn country. That's what they saying. So if you wanna take that chance and shoot your 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 missiles, and we, and they knock down 75% of the ones you shoot, yeah, you get a few off and you hit 2 or 3 cities, but they're gonna obliterate you. You see what I'm saying? So, is that a decision that you want to make? You have to take that into consideration. You see, yeah, you have to take that into consideration that, if that's what you want to do, you see? And so, that's the threat level that the world is in today. But Vladimir Putin talking about Alaska, he can go on ahead and hang that up. You understand what I'm saying? See, this is his way psychologically, this is psychological warfare. You feel me? They got so many missiles in Alaska, though. You know what I'm saying? And I'm quite sure that since he been running his mouth, that they didn't started fortifying in Alaska anyway. They've been when they started fortifying over there in the South Pacific, they started fortifying in Alaska anyway. All along the west coast of the United States, Hawaii, all the way. That whole area is connected. That's that West Coast front. You see what I'm saying for the United States. So all the military bases on the West Coast, Alaska, Hawaii, and all the other Guam and all that. They started fortifying all of that. So Russia don't want no smoke. They don't want no smoke. Real talk. The only thing that's keeping Russia in the top militaries right now today is the fact that they got them. They got hell of a missile technology. Now that cannot be refuted, but if you get in a small argument with somebody, you can't be bombing no motherfucker with no, you know what I'm saying? You got to come down on the ground and get some. You see what I'm saying? You got to come down on the ground and get some. And China kicked Russia ass. I think motherfuckers have to accept the fact they giving Russia the number 2 spot because they got all them nuclear bombs and shit. You know what I'm saying? But you can't use that in you know small skirmishes and shit. If somebody else ain't shooting a nuclear bomb at you, you shoot a nuclear bomb when you under threat of annihilation. Other than that, you have to use conventional warfare. You had to come down on the ground. And so Russia ain't about to come. China, I believe China will kick Russia ass. You see what I'm saying? For real. I do. I believe if it came down on the ground, China will kick Russia's ass. So they ain't really number 2 like that. And they not ready to see the United States on the ground, not fumbling with Ukraine. You see what I'm saying? Not fumbling with Ukraine. Because if it was an all-out war, because listen, Iraq is way more, going into Iraq, man, please. When they first went into, fucking with Saddam Hussein, they had to go over there with literally like 40 damn countries. You see what I'm saying? That motherfucker was stockpiled. You know what I'm saying? He was stockpiled. They've been fighting way, them motherfuckers have been fighting Iran and shit and all that for years. So them motherfuckers they was ready. They had experience and shit. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't just no motherfuckers that, yeah, they had been fighting over that motherfucker for 30, 40 years straight. So them was, they still got their ass kicked, but they was, they was nervous because, Saddam Hussein had stockpiled all type of tanks and shit. Yeah, they ain't ready to see nobody, man. Russia the big hype right now, as far as on the ground. Now, if it come to, dropping them bombs, any of the nuclear capable nations can bring just straight up chaos and mayhem if they let one of them motherfuckers go. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be chaos and mayhem for a nation that don't have one of them motherfuckers. They're going to tap. You know what I'm saying? The first one that dropped, yeah, they're going to tap. But other than that, uh, Russia don't have the Navy to fuck with the United States. They don't even they Air Force, yeah, they got some planes, man, but goddamn, United States got damn near something like 15,000 planes, man. Straight the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? So if it came down to the get down, if it's no nuclear warfare in the game, if it's no nuclear war, and it's just conventional war, United States will kick Russia ass. Real talk. So just give up, on that. Motherfuckers out there talking that shit. They ain't beat Ukraine yet. You see what I'm saying? They ain't beat Ukraine yet. They ain't beat Ukraine yet. Nah, believe me when I tell, and this is just telling it like it TI is. You see, if it's just telling it like it TI is, if the United States was beefing with Ukraine, they would have been took that motherfucker over. They would have been took Ukraine over. That motherfucker would have been taken over early last year. They would have been in there on their head already. Straight up. Because they don't play. They would have went straight to that motherfucking capital, just like they did motherfucking Saddam Hussein. They hit that motherfucking, they came through that Persian Gulf, and they, from that Persian Gulf to Baghdad, they was pulling up in that motherfucker in less than 24 hours. They say that was the fastest that a nation ever from that distance come from that goddamn Gulf and went to Baghdad as fast as they was flying to that motherfucker on the ground, nigga, the trucks and shit. And they had a caravan of goddamn trucks and tanks and shit, man, for probably damn near 20 miles. That's how long that goddamn caravan was. And when they hit that motherfucker in less than damn 24 hours, they was already in that motherfucker. And then, and you could see the motherfuckers on that along the way. Them motherfuckers was already out there waving the white flag. They like, fuck this. But they knew that they was gonna go to guerrilla warfare. They knew that they was not gonna be able to face that. They wasn't gonna be able to face that. So they didn't face it. And so that kind of played on their ego, because they thought that they had really, and then they had, the soldiers had taken their motherfucking their uniforms off, and they blended right on in. That's what they did. They blended right on into society. And that's some of the dumb shit that they did of it, because they dismissed the army and shit. And the motherfuckers took the uniforms off, blended right into society, and then became the goddamn guerrilla. Yeah, the guerrilla warriors, the guerrilla, the ones that would go to guerrilla warfare on the United States. And they fought their ass. You see, they fought them to no avail. Certain areas, they were, it was brutal fighting. Like up there in Fallujah, you know what I'm saying? Fallujah, that motherfucker, they fought in that motherfucker like brutally. You see what I'm saying? Over a year. You know what I'm saying? Them motherfuckers up in there was ruthless. Shit, they had killed some Marines, and they had killed them Marines up through there. And yeah, who was that down there? The greatest of all time. What's the greatest of all time? What you talking about down there? Greatest of all time? What it? What? I ain't see none. What greatest of all time down there talking about? Yeah, what greatest of all time down there talking about? Speak up, greatest. What you down there? What you relating on? Greatest of all time. Yeah, talk to me. Talk to me. Let me talk to me. Greatest of all time down there. Talk. Come on with something. Come on with something. Greatest of all time down there quiet. I can't get no motherfucker to talk back. What's going on, greatest? Yeah, ain't a motherfucker don't want no smoke. Yeah, them motherfuckers get quiet. But anyway, yeah, that's the reality of it. That's the reality of it. That Vladimir Putin, he might as well go on and throw the motherfucking towel in, because he won't be getting no goddamn. He ain't gonna be getting no Alaska, and motherfucker he better be on his motherfucking knees and praying to his Russian God that motherfucker get Ukraine. Other than that, you feel what I'm saying? Other than that, this is just a psychological yeah, this is just a psychological warfare. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to agitate. That's about all he can do. You see, that's about all he could do. And at the end of the day, we'll see. I tell you that. We'll see. And so I thank y'all for being here tonight, family. Appreciate you coming out having Yeah, he ain't ready for nothing. Man, Vladimir Putin liable to be dead in the next year or two. You understand what I'm saying? We'll be black tomorrow, family. We got a couple of already in the queue, and we're gonna get started early tomorrow. Y'all most definitely be on deck, because it's gonna be, some hot information. Thank you for being here. Hit some of them links, support the general, arm yourself with knowledge. Bang on that wicked ass beast daily. Liberation through African education and confrontation. Black power.